Today, I'm unboxing the Galaxy Pro Rooftop tent from TopOak, installing it on my 4Runner, and gearing up for a weekend in northern Minnesota.
Your fingers.
Yeah.
With the roof rack that goes on top of it.
In this review, I'll walk you through every detail of the tent, while putting it to the test in less than ideal conditions. The morning I set out, the weather makes for an interesting journey. It starts with rain, turns to ice, and eventually snow. After hours on the road, I finally reach camp, a quiet, remote spot on the shores of Lake Superior. Snow is falling, waves crash in the distance. This is what I love about camping, a challenge, but also a break from the noise, a chance to slow down and focus on the essentials: shelter, food, warmth, just being out here. It's time to set up, settle in, and see how the Galaxy Pro holds up against the elements. A big thanks to TopOak for sending this tent out for review. But I want to mention, as always, my thoughts in this review are my own. If you're thinking about picking one up for yourself, stick around. I'll be sharing a discount code at the end of the video. Let's get into it.
For those of you who have seen my channel before, you know this is not the first TopOak tent that I've reviewed. I have also done the Galaxy 1.0. Last fall I did the Stellar, which is basically the Galaxy 2.0. And now for this review, I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I wanted to actually take it out for a proper test. So I headed to northern Minnesota. I'm up here, the temperature's starting to drop, the snow is moving in, I'm on the shore of Lake Superior. I thought this was a perfect environment to give you guys an accurate review to see how this thing holds up overnight. One of the new upgrades on the Galaxy Pro is the redesign of the awning system. On the Stellar, that was the first tent they came out with that had integrated awnings on each side, where they narrowed the doors in and then had a nice protective awning covering that. So if you have bad weather, like we are having right now, or when it's raining out, you're not getting stuff inside your tent wet when you're entering and exiting the tent. What I like about the redesign is they went back to having full-size doors on the sides. So in the summertime, when you can just have the screens open, you still get a lot of nice natural light coming in, a lot of breeze coming through. In order for them to cover the entire side of the tent, they did create a seam here that Velcros back together so that your strut can still go through the awning, and then you still get coverage from the front to the back. So it's pretty interesting design, and I'm interested to see how well that really sheds water. Another thing they added to this tent was a diesel heater port. They just have it on the passenger side. It's a 3-inch diameter hole and just Velcro shut. For me, I have a diesel heater that has a 3.5-inch port coming off of it, and I usually run a 4-inch dryer vent hose off of that for other applications, but I just went ahead and got this galvanized reducer, so I went from 4 inches down to 3 inches, and then this little wing nut on here helps hold it in place. So I just push this into the hole and it locks in, and I'm good to go. Easy as that. A couple other things that have always come standard with the Galaxy tents is the telescoping ladder. So just nice rigid ladder. It also comes with a carrying case, which I actually find very valuable because the treads on these ladders do get dirty going up and down with shoes on. And it's nice just to be able to tuck it inside of a carrying case, throw it up inside the tent when you pack up, and everything stays clean. Speaking of staying clean, they also provide 2 shoe bags. They've always done this, starting with the Galaxy 1.0. And what I like about this is how easy it is to mount. There's this channel that runs along the bottom of the tent. Basically, just feed it into one side, slide it in place, and then when you go to bed at night, you just throw your shoes in there and keep everything clean. Another thing they added to this tent was power. You'll see right up under here, they have this Anderson plug mounted to the bottom of the tent. That runs up inside to a Blue Sea style power panel. And that has a DC plug and a couple USBs. I think there's USB-C and a standard USB, and then also a voltmeter. What I ended up doing, I created this cable that has an Anderson plug and a DC cigarette plug, and I'm gonna run this off my EcoFlow tonight Then I can run the lights inside right off my EcoFlow while it's still inside the truck. I can also charge my phone and any other electronics that I need to charge up there. One thing to note is on a Prinsu style roof rack where the bar in the back runs vertical across the back, you won't be able to access that Anderson plug. So I just left that extruded aluminum bar off. The roof rack is fine without it. That allows me access into that Anderson port, but something I wanted to note in case you're running the same kind of roof rack I have. So as far as the size and weight of the Galaxy Pro, this is the exact same size as the 1.0 was, same size as the Stellar, and same weight. It's a 175-pound tent, 83 inches long, 56 inches wide, and it's about 8 inches tall when it's closed. So I know that's important for people if they're trying to figure out if this will fit inside their garage or not. I'm 6'2", my son is 6'3". We slept in the Stellar, which is the exact same size like I mentioned, for about a week with our 60-pound yellow lab. And we were perfectly comfortable with plenty of room inside. So like I mentioned, it is a larger tent. That 175-pound weight, you know, if you're just doing overlanding, car camping, this tent is great. If you're gonna be in some off-camber situations, you know, just know how much weight you have up on your roof. Another question I get is how far past the roof rack does this tent hang on each side? I have a Toyota 4Runner with a Prinsu roof rack, and this tent, when mounted, hangs out about 4.5 inches on each side of the vehicle. So that's something, if that's important to you, keep in mind. There might be a little bit of wind resistance on the sides, but overall, this is pretty standard for this type and size of a rooftop tent. The Galaxy Pro also comes with the optional crossbars. I say optional because it's up to you whether you want to mount them or not. You just simply bolt them into the side rails on each side of the tent, and you can slide them as far apart or as close together as you want them to be for whatever you're using them for. Another mounting point up here is these channels that run the full length of the tent, and those are for mounting solar panels. That's just a nice feature to have. So the last main upgrade that TopOak has made to this tent is the U-bar system. So as we look at the U-bar, you notice something's missing, and that's the bars or the poles that come down and lock the kickout into place. So because TopOak was getting feedback that consumers are overstretching the fabric by pushing that U-bar out really hard and then locking it into place, they came up with a latch system that would allow the U-bar to work independently. You push it to a certain point and it latches, so it's supposed to be the optimal tension on the fabric. But what I've noticed is it sags a little bit in the middle. So if you're not comfortable with that, they did go ahead and provide one of the old extension poles that you can install in the center and just lock that thing into place. And here's that latch system at work. So basically you just push the U-bar into place, flip the latch, and it locks itself in. Now, since I received this tent from TopOak, they have already made an improvement on that latch system. So I'm gonna go ahead and include a video that they provided me that shows the new lockout system. Looks like it's a lot more robust. Something I've always enjoyed with these modified wedge-style rooftop tents is that kickout really offers a lot of extra interior space. So you can really kind of stretch out, a lot of headroom. You just don't feel like you're in such a confined space when you're up here, even with two people. Another thing to mention, they do have the skylight still in this model, so that was also in the Galaxy 1.0 and Stellar. So that just unzips. There's plastic on the top, so if it's a nice day out, even if it's raining, you can leave that open. They have vents on both sides, so you can get a little bit of airflow in here as well, just to help with condensation. They still have the nice fabric top on here, also helping with condensation. And then just a ton of pockets everywhere. So you have plenty of storage for keys, flashlights, whatever, you name it. One thing we've all come to expect from a rooftop tent is incorporating lighting into it. So this has a nice edge-to-edge LED light. Something that they started incorporating last year was a remote control with that. So you can control the brightness, the color of the light, and then a nice feature, it has a timer on here as well. So if you fall asleep and you set it to 1 hour, the light's going to shut off after 1 hour. It's not going to continue to drain your battery. Well, I just spent the first night in the Galaxy Pro and I woke up to just a beautiful morning here on the shores of Lake Superior. The sunrise was absolutely amazing. I found last night that I stayed nice and comfortable. They have a 2 3/4 inch mattress inside this tent, and that really does a great job of not only giving you some cushion, it is a little bit on the firmer side, but it also does a great job of insulating the bottom of the tent. So I felt no cold coming up from underneath that can sometimes happen with a thinner mattress. In addition to the mattress, it has a moisture wicking layer underneath, as well as another layer that's felt that does a great job of providing additional insulation. Like I already knew, the Galaxy Pro is a very roomy tent. Me and my dog Rosie slept in the tent last night with plenty of room left over. We could easily fit another person up there with us. At 83 inches long, I had plenty of room up there for someone like me who's over 6 feet tall. I could lay end to end. My toes didn't even come close to touching the top of the roof. In addition to the space, the addition of the diesel heater port just makes camping in this type of environment that much more enjoyable. The outside temperature was about 20 degrees last night, and the tent inside was about 70 degrees all night long. So me and the dog stayed plenty warm. The Galaxy Pro is a very solid tent. This thing has everything you need if you're getting into overlanding or upgrading from ground tenting. And with the added features like the full awning, the diesel heater port, the redesigned U-bar, this has become my favorite tent that TopOak offers. Now the price of the Galaxy Pro has gone up a little bit. It retails for around $1,800, but that does include free shipping. Previously you had to pay $200 or $300 just to ship it to your house. TopOak did go ahead and give me a discount code that I can pass along to you. I'll go ahead and put that in the description below.
If you use that discount code, it does help support the channel. I get a small commission, which goes right back into making more reviews, installations, and trip videos like this. A big thanks again to TopOak for sending this tent out, and of course, thanks to you for watching. This is Destination Journey.